What is up, Sooner Nation? Welcome to Culture 101 class. Appreciate you being here in the session tonight. Thanks for being a part of the Sooner Surge. Big shout out first to Eric,
Go, Eric.
for becoming a Sooner Surge Unlimited member. Again, super thankful for that, Eric. Hunter will drop the stuff in the chat, but Eric, make sure you join the Discord as you have become a member. That's one of the perks that you will receive. Also, you should have a little Sooner Surge logo next to your name in the comment chat. But welcome to class. Just kidding. But seriously, excited to see some of these culture definitions. Already got some excuses dropping tonight, Jay.
I see a couple that didn't get their homework done, it doesn't look like. So, Sooner fan and Mark, hope you're kidding on that. Hope you do have a definition for us, but we'll see. What's up, O'Shea? How are you?
What's up?
Jeremy, how are you going to do this? Are you going to read through theirs, or are you going to say yours first?
We'll read through some of these first. And Jay says, I guess he was saying culture versus winning, but can you win if you hold yourself to a higher standard versus cheating? I don't know exactly where he's going. I don't know if they're talking about me or what on that. I'm strictly talking culture tonight at the beginning of this.
Jackson didn't get his homework done either.
Jackson, I talked to you earlier tonight and you weren't sick. Obviously, you're faking.
Let's read a few of the first ones. Here we go.
All right. Believe and Be Saved says, a winning culture is about developing and nurturing an attitude of success, a mindset that values hard work, persistence, and commitment, something bigger than themselves. This leads to a winning team. Appreciate you doing the work, the homework, Believe and Be Saved. I like some things in that, Jay.
Yeah, some of those, it's well put. I'll leave my definition here for later, but I like some of that, Believe and Be Saved. What else we got here? Culture is what you and others think of when they hear your team name. Okay. I see where Ron's going with that.
Culture travels. And by the way, Baker Mayfield traveled and played a heck of a game tonight. 405 boy. I'm not just getting back from church. I was at church earlier. I'm the professor tonight. I love Dalpo is here. Culture is like magic rays of sunshine that come down when you're feeling blue.
Well, I don't know. I don't understand that.
Jay, is culture a feeling? Is culture a feeling? It's not, is it?
No. I'll say my definition later. Hey, Bradley, Unlimited member Bradley, no, have not landed anybody yet. Okay, so we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Let me talk about that, though, Jay. Obviously, he visited Gear and Hatchet.
Yeah.
Last night, I thought he'd be committed by now. Little disappointed that he's not. I'm not going to lie. But I know he's got to talk it over probably with family. Little disappointed, though.
At the same time, you said also he would go back and talk to his family and brother. So I don't know why you thought he would be committed. But Waterboy reference. I've seen Waterboy a couple times. I did not remember that reference. So there you go.
Jackson had a culture definition. It was pretty lengthy.
Go to Jackson's.
Culture is how people interact and communicate with one another, or how they don't allow differences get continued to form one successful thing combined. Sorry.
I'm hearing a lot of the same wordage a little bit.
There's some buzzwords, Jay. I went with an acronym, guys.
Let's hear it.
Culture, acronym. It's commitment. It's unity. It's love. It's trust. It's unselfishness. It's resilience. It's effort. There you go. That's mine. Acronym.
Hunter says culture is what is established off the field in the facilities and team meetings so that winning can take place on the field. And this is going to lead to mine. I think. Let's get to Jay's real quick. Jay says culture is a foundation built around all those things, Jeremy.
I like that, Jay. Jay, we'll team up. Our culture definition will rock it.
Don't team up. I have my own definition. Don't try to jump on board my definition.
I said Jay Jones.
Oh, Jay Jones. I thought you were talking about me, Jay. Okay.
I'm not teaming up with you, Jay. Adam George. Hey, by the way, Jay Jones is a Sooner Surge Unlimited member. Adam George and Mez, let's read theirs. This is Mez. BV is the architect. A winning culture is his blueprint. I like that. Locker room leadership are his pillars to ensure the structure doesn't crumble at any point of season. I tell you what, Mez, obviously you did some homework. That's good. That's good language there. I like it. Adam
They're
George.
starting to roll in here now.
Adam George is also a Sooner Surge Unlimited member. Appreciate it. Adam George says building a united program while holding the team accountable for good and bad decisions, not putting one player on a pedestal. You sink or swim as a team. Bad culture is like having a hole in the boat.
Man, there's a lot
Great
of
analogy,
We're gonna
man.
try to get
I'm so proud. I'm so proud of the Sooner Surge viewers tonight.
Hey, let's get to all these before I say mine.
Thanks, Chuck.
Purple Orca says
spoke a little
culture
bit
equals
tonight.
discipline. Purple Orca says culture equals discipline and accountability to do things to win. Jimmy says a unique personality on soul basis, values, and heritage. I love what Sooner Cowboy says. It's a great one. He says a good culture is built on a strong foundation of faith, values, and your weakest link. I love that he put that in there, actually. I think that's really good, Sooner Cowboy. Eric, what do we got here? Yeah, hit the like. Everybody hit the like, please.
Eric said, and by the way, Eric, again, thanks you so much.
Thanks.
Being a Sooner Surge Unlimited member tonight. I appreciate it. Culture is your team identity or brand. It's how you run your program, how you recruit, how you practice. It's tangible, and you should be able to describe a team's culture in 2 or 3 words. I like that, Eric. I like it.
Hey,
this is great. This may be the best one.
Culture, look at Patty Gasso.
Is Patty Gasso's name next to culture in the dictionary? Maybe.
Hey, I'm going to say mine. Well, let's get to Chief T-Bird here.
Chief T-Bird here. Chief T-Bird, did you figure out the Discord? Give us a thumbs up if so. But culture is necessary for cohesion and accountability among players, and you will never win without a good one. But in the end, the Jimmies are the difference.
Jimmys and Joes, not X's and O's. Hey, let me get to mine, okay? Wait, Tanya, every night.
Tanya's got good culture. Right there it is.
Appreciate it so much, Tanya. It means a lot. Thank you so much. Here we go. I'm going to get with mine. And before I give you my definition, he did not figure it out. We'll get with Chief T-Bird later. Before I get to my definition, I want to go over some culture quotes. Okay, these are some culture quotes. Just listen to these because they go along with a lot of what people have said here. Don't give in, step up, and embrace the grind. Hear that a lot. The strength of the team is determined by the strength of the connections on the team. A great team requires great relationships. Okay, heard that. It's about reinforcing that this is a special place that has produced special players. You hear that all the time. The past, it's just a great culture. But here's my definition of culture. Culture is an action. It's not words. You said a lot of words tonight. I disagree. Yeah, I'm reading something. I put it in my notes, buddy Jackson. It's on my notes. I can't memorize that. Culture is an action. It's not words. You can't have a good culture with words or phrases. I know we hear it all the time. Hey, whatever I just said, those are words, those are phrases. You can't have a good culture with that. It has to lead to execution of those words or behaviors. You cannot say we have a great culture, and then you cannot say you're committed, Jeremy. Like your first word for culture is committed, and then you don't. It doesn't lead to results. That's not a good culture.
Absolutely, Jay.
So you have to have it. I could have a team at work that has 10 people on it. Okay. And we could be the most tight-knit group. We have faith, values. We are strong. We help each other out. And that could be a, quote, good culture, but it's not successful if people aren't good at their positions, right?
That's a given. You got to have players, too. Jonathan,
and there it is. True culture is action. That's what I'm trying to get at. It's got to perform.
Hey, can I go back to Jonathan Fasikas here? Appreciate you being on here. Culture is caring about yourself, but more importantly, being your brother's keeper. I actually heard something similar to this in church today. You have to be your brother's keeper on a team. You know, the phrase is, I'm not my brother's keeper. I don't know where so-and-so is tonight. I agree with Jonathan. You got to be your brother's keeper on teams. Accountability is key. Accountability is key. Robert. Jay's was a page long. Yeah, unreal.
You told us to do homework, dude.
Robert, culture is a belief in each other, a trust in the person next to you and the people in charge, responsibility for your actions, and pride in your work. Yeah, I mean.
So, we could keep talking about this.
Let's talk, Jay, let's talk about Sooner Cowboy because the comparison is to Patty Gasso. I think Brent Venables holds players accountable. I think OU's football culture is pretty good, honestly. I really do.
Yes, I'd agree.
Is OU's culture good enough to win a national championship?
Yes.
I think it is.
It is, but you also have to have, like you said earlier, very talented team. You have to have a talented team too. You can't just have culture. It's got to be both.
Agreed. Culture, yes. Talent, no. That's it.
Although I kind of disagree, Sooner fan, because what they got coming in the 24 class is pretty good, especially up front.
Hey, is Eric saying the culture is not good enough yet? Maybe.
I think that's what Eric
maybe implying because they did lose. I think Eric maybe the other night mentioned they're losing games they shouldn't. Is that a culture issue? And hopefully it gets better.
Is that a culture issue, Jeremy?
We talked about it the other night. I mean, it depends on what's going on in the locker room, Jay, but for those games. Are people holding each other accountable or just thinking, hey, we're going to run over these guys? And someone earlier mentioned locker room leadership. Maybe it isn't great yet.
Great question here by Jay. Can a good culture exist with or without winning? Is it about on the field or in life? I think, listen, Jay, I think there's two things. I think you have a culture on the field, and I also think you have a culture off the field. I think a culture on the field to me is a little different than an off the field culture. Or do you not agree with that, Jeremy?
I mean, I agree with you. There's culture on both sides. Sooner fan says it's a coaching issue, not culture. We did hear some buy-in issue. Even Stutzman alluded to guys got to be bought in. So, again, maybe they were holding players accountable there.
Jeremy,
and that's good.
How many guys does it take not to be bought in for your culture to drop? One?
Yeah, it probably depends on if it's the right guy, Jay. Chester, I disagree. I think Seth Littrell, for continuity purposes, for Jackson Arnold purposes, this was the right decision instead of the go-go offense, me personally.
I agree, Tone Loke, 100%. You can't really compare the two, and you can't really compare them. I don't think either. They're totally different sports with a lot of things different in those two sports. It's just in my opinion.
Yeah,
I mean,
softball's tiddlywinks compared to Power 5 football. Chief T-Bird, Hunter did just send something in the chat. Maybe you got it. Send us an email at ousportsroundup@gmail.com. We'll make sure you get that Discord corrected or however we can figure it out, see what's going on. You're right. We won't be able to judge Seth Littrell until 5 games in because the first 4 are pretty easy. First 3 for sure.
Yeah, and Sooner Cowboy says last season had to finish pushing guys out that didn't give it 100%. This third season is where we should really judge BB and stuff. I agree. The third season is usually that kind of like that flip turn that you can really judge them. I think that's true. I missed what Mars Jam said on that, so I don't know what Topher's referring to. Do you, Jeremy?
Oklahoma put up 600 yards with the new OC. That is correct. But it wasn't really his system, but they did. And are you talking about Ohio State? Because Ohio State is absolutely loaded next year.
Yeah. Ohio State just keeps bringing in dudes. I mean,
I'm thinking O'Shea's talking about the Ohio State.
Yeah, 100% that's who he's talking about.
Yeah, they brought in people all over the place. What's up, Robbie? Thanks for being a Sooner Surge Unlimited member. And Jay, hey, everyone that's on here, listen, tomorrow night we got something special for you. Listen, we listen to our viewers and our subscribers, I promise you. And every night we realize what we've been talking about. Culture, NIL, portal. Tomorrow night, got a special guest. I think we're going to start early tomorrow night. Correct, Jay?
Maybe not. Maybe 9:15, maybe 9:30, but it could be 9:15 maybe. But what's up, Mike? I saw Bobby. Yes, Bobby says Hatchett could be staying at Washington. Started to hear that's more likely. Listen, I think a lot of people don't realize it, and I'm not saying this about Hatchett, but a lot of the Alabama guys that hit the portal too, you kind of be silly, some of these guys, to not at least go test the market. It's like testing free agency. Go see how much you can get, right?
Yeah.
So he could go back to Washington, yes.
Chief T-Bird has solved the Discord issue. Appreciate it. Appreciate Hunter getting back with him. Hunter, according to a source, I don't know that they're for sure going to bring Sayin in. That's just something I heard. Did it already happen?
Hey, Sooner Cowboys. This is why I think the David Stone
Oh, he
recruitment
committed
and
today.
get
I didn't see that.
what?
He committed today. I didn't see that today.
Who committed?
Julian Sayin from
Yeah,
Alabama
he
to
went to
Ohio
Ohio
State.
State. Hey, that's why the David Stone get was huge for Oklahoma, because he was a 5-star, and OU seemed to be having trouble landing those big defensive line 5-stars, and they got him. That's why. And look what he's doing already. I mean, he's going to be a guy that's going to make waves of differences for this Sooner team next year. Promise you.
Hey, I was looking at OU's schedule, guys, and earlier Chris Russing was on here, and I didn't get to say hi to him. Appreciate you being on here. Howdy, Mark. Mark Hampton. Listen, I agree with Sooner Cowboys in that comment that I looked at the schedule again, Jay. If OU 7-5, there are major issues or there are major injuries. There's either major issues or major injuries as OU 7-5 next year. I can't find 5 losses.
No, 7-5 wouldn't be a good year, I don't think, Jeremy. No,
I'm not a sunshine pumper, but 7-5 is debacle in Norman.
Correct.
Chuck, let me just say this. I thought he would be committed tonight. It hasn't happened. Obviously, he came here. He's gone back. He didn't commit. Everything I see from his family on Twitter, and they seem pretty tight-knit. Maybe there's conversations, I guess. I thought it would happen. I know if it's going to happen, it's got to be for OU's sake, I think it would have to be sooner rather than later. No pun intended.
Are you concerned if he doesn't commit?
I'm concerned with what, Jay?
Are you concerned that OU cannot close the offensive lineman in the portal if he doesn't commit?
I would be
because this would be correct me if I'm wrong. This would be at 3 that made it to campus and did not commit.
3 out of 6, yeah.
Is that concerning at all?
It's 50%. It's not great.
You would think. I mean, we talk about it all the time in the portal. If you can get them on campus, that's a big first step, and then you can land them, right?
Yeah. Hey,
I agree with this 100%, Topher. I think.
Okay.
I think if they get one, they get both. I agree.
Go back to infidels. Culture is a standard that doesn't change to get that one player. Culture is everyone buying in and working as hard as they possibly can, knowing they will look for someone better. Appreciate you doing the homework. And, hey, a lot of good things there, too. It's not just for one player. Jay, someone who said, I think it was Ron, 8-4 would be a great season. It'd be a good season. It'd be a good season. This
9-3 would be a great season. I think 9-3 would be.
9-3 would be a great season. 8-4.
Hey,
good
why do you guys think we're missing on the portal line, Jeremy?
Well, Hatchett hasn't missed out yet.
And go to Eric's question here.
I'm going to say something real quick about the O-line. There is a lot of competition there.
Okay, but go to Eric's here. He says, this is why I think OU's culture has issues. The elite talent consistently overlooks us. We consistently lose games to schools we have no business losing to, and development is not elite.
Well, I'm going to say on the first point.
Wait. Before you say it, Eric, are you saying we have culture, words, phrases, but we're not performing, we're not executing, we're not getting actions from it? Is that what he's trying to say?
I tell you what Eric is saying. The first reason in his line of reasoning here, elite talent consistently overlooks us. I don't think that's a culture issue. I think that's them chasing money. Now, the second and third one, consistently losing games to schools we have no business losing, that's an accountability, I think. That's a culture issue. I didn't remember the third one because it's off the screen, but the third one was can't even remember now. It was development is not elite. Probably depends on a position group. Some years there's been better development. It's been a problem in some areas. I'm not going to lie. Fred says what he thinks he's saying is we don't have Bama and Georgia guys.
Says what now? Bagman says we're starting to sound like Iowa State fans with the culture. LOL. Georgia is very good at selling flash with the culture atmosphere. Stacking talent is what works in the SC. And I think that's a great point with Kirby Smart. Kirby Smart, they have great culture, but they have, it's hard for me to. The culture word is it's like a buzzword, Jeremy. Because who do you think in the SEC are the top 4 teams with best culture?
I don't know. There's a thumb up on your face, Jay.
Like that. Hey, who do you think?
As far
Georgia,
as what?
Alabama?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously that's where we're going to start.
Why? Because they win?
Yeah. Bagman is triggered. I'm confused. Hey, Jay, I agree with Chuck. There is some of this old school coaches that maybe people don't like, possibly. Bagman, what are you triggered about? I'm confused. And by the way, for people to say that OU is not talented, OU's recruiting class under Brent Venables are top 10. So let's stop comparing OU's recruiting to garbage schools.
Georgia has elite talent. Utah has great culture. Eric, do you not think Georgia has a good culture?
OU's somewhere in between that because OU's got really good talent, guys. The 2 classes that BV has brought in are really good. Am I wrong?
Here's the deal. You're not wrong, but it's got to be proven on the field, man.
Agreed. I want to know why Bagman is triggered.
I don't know, and I don't know.
Yeah. Okie State. Guys, I agree. Ron, I agree OU's on the rise, but Ron, you're the one that said 8-4 is a great season, and you're saying OU's on the rise. If OU's on the rise, they got to be 9-3 next year. 8-4 does not show me they're on the rise.
Jeremy, they were 10-2. They gotta have a 2 or 3 loss season this year. That's what they need.
That's what I think. Hey, Baker Mayfield was unbelievable today.
He was. They didn't get.
I don't know what their coach was doing going for 2, but Baker is unbelievable. It wouldn't have
mattered anyway at that point.
He found a home.
Okay, Sooner fan says anything worse than 9-3 next year is disappointing in his opinion. I kind of would agree with that, Sooner fan.
Yeah. Bagman, what are you triggered about?
Yeah,
please
tell us what you're triggered about.
Yeah, Tampa Bay secondary was bad.
Zach Alley will add. I agree with the Zach Alley comment here. Will add more value than Roof to the locker room. I agree with that.
Yeah. And Infidel had, this is the difference between OU and softball culture. Softball expects to win every game. They don't give up. They never quit. Can you say that about OU football? Richard, I don't think it's an effort issue at all in OU football.
Then what is it for not winning the games you should win? What do you think?
They didn't execute at all in those games. That's one. There was a lot of issues in those games. Now, I will say that, yes, there's parity in softball. Is it like football? I mean, one pitcher can dominate in softball and kind of control the game. But here's what Bagman's trick.
Hey, go ahead and read it.
We keep using culture as an excuse of why we're not landing elite talent. Eventually, it's going to work, right?
Hey, I am not saying culture is not the reason we're not landing elite talent. To me, the reason we're not landing elite talent is I think a lot of it has to do with when you think of the top 5 teams in football, when you think of Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, who else can you throw in there? There's 4 or 5 teams. I don't think OU's there yet. I don't think, and what I mean by that is I don't think around the nation the top recruits think that way.
Jay, I don't think, but Bagman, where I think I disagree if I'm reading it right, I don't, and I get what you're saying, Ron, there in the chat. I understand now. But Bagman, I don't think guys are choosing other schools because of OU's culture issue. I don't know if that's what you're saying. Now, maybe the culture, are you saying it's deterring people from OU? I'm confused on that. Someone dropped a super, and I want to say Chief T-Bird. Appreciate it.
For some reason, I can't get it on the screen. But
I can't either. Maybe Hunter can. Seems like we're stacked everywhere but O-line. If Jackson Arnold is the guy we think, why aren't we outbidding everyone for these O-line? Doesn't make sense to me. First off, thanks for the super, Chief T-Bird. Second of all, I agree. Why aren't we outbidding? again, I don't know the whole situation on some of these O-line guys. I do know that the O-line is very good in numbers. Their strength in numbers. They're just very inexperienced.
Hey,
we'll see if Hatchet comes.
And Bobby, you're right there, because as I said that, I was thinking, okay, well, you got Ole Miss, you got Colorado, you got some of these teams that are landing great players, top players, other than OU. And I'm going to bring up a question that I think we haven't talked about in the 2 months we've been doing this live, and I think it's a fair question, but do you think there's people out there, players, that are wondering if Brent Venables in Oklahoma will be able to do it in the SEC?
Be able to do what?
Make the playoff, win the SEC.
Yeah, I'm with Jay Jones. I think OU goes 9-3 next year and is in the playoff.
I say that though, but why would the same players? And this is where I think we can talk to her the blue in the face. We'll talk about it tomorrow night with Brian. But what I just said, I was going to see if you answered it. What I said, and you didn't really. But these teams like Colorado and Ole Miss, they're not going to win national championships. I'm sorry, they're never going to win an Natty. They're getting these guys. So what does that come down to? It comes down to the three-letter word. It's NIL.
Yeah, and the hub is right.
That's what it comes down to, NIL.
People are guys are chasing money more than culture. And look, I'm gonna have to think that in the end, maybe culture is gonna win out. I know I might be in the minority on that. Hey, good point. Who said that? Mez. Listen, if you listen to David Stone and Okoye and Nigel Smith and Jaden Jackson, you kind of hear both. Okoye, what got Okoye to OU was he wasn't OU wasn't on his radar. He saw the turnaround in the defense. So there's on the field stuff that Okoye chose. Stone, Nigel, Jackson, I mean, on the field is important, but also the soul mission stuff, just the culture at OU. I think that's important to them as well.
And I think Topher's right here, because I've heard the same thing. Like, people are fooling themselves if they don't think OU paid good NIL to get those guys. Okay,
agreed, Jay.
So I think a lot of the NIL stuff that people are freaking out about most of the time, if you talk OU football, purely OU football, in the last 2 years, I don't hear a lot of complaints from their high school recruiting ranks that OU's not landing guys. To me, It's all portal related, and the NIL stuff that people are freaking out about, it's all NIL related. I mean, it's all portal related. It's not high school recruiting related. And if you listen to Brent Venables, he wants to develop from the high school ranks, not the portal. So that's your answer of why we're not going to get these guys.
I agree. OU's paying NIL. I mean,
yes,
and two things. I want to get to two things. Craig first. Craig, again, you're a Sooner Surge Unlimited member. We appreciate you so much. You're there in Atlanta, in SEC country, and the narrative is that OU's not even mentioned. And that needs a change, and maybe it will now that they're in the SEC. The other thing, O'Shea Smith, and real quick, Sooner Legend Podcast. Thanks so much for the super. You're awesome. Appreciate your tags and all those things that you do and the videos you put out. Do you guys see any of the new O-linemen starting or at least in the rotation? Absolutely. 2 are going to start. Right now, my guess would be Fabechi and Spencer Brown. But that's a guess.
I wouldn't rule out one of the freshmen getting in there. I really wouldn't. And by the way, check out Sooner Legends podcast. Some really good stuff on there.
Okay. Hey, O'Shea, I think we're most willing to go big for recruits, not portal. I agree with that. Fred, 100%. What was your comment? What was Fred's comment? He asking us to read it.
I have to find it, Jeremy. My phone's.
This is interesting, though. And maybe Hunter can find Fred's comment. If you can pay if you can pay unproven high school players like Stone and Arnold, then you have to pay proven college talent, even if it's all about the back.
And I think this is a great. I mean, we could hash this out for 24 hours straight, probably. And I think
this needs to be asked tomorrow night to the guy coming on.
And Fred says, "Do you brothers think we're just a bunch of hard-nosed country people that love OU football? We just can't pay the players." I'll say this: I do not think NIL pay is a problem at OU. I do think they are very selected on who they're paying. That's what I think, and I don't think they're going to overpay.
Chad, I appreciate the super, bud. Appreciate it. What's the word on the Hatchett brothers commitment yet? No, there's no commitment. Garen Hatchett left campus, has not committed. The word is from everyone that's even in the chat. Obviously, the decision's got to be made. It's got to be something they talk with family about. If it doesn't happen sooner, then it's like if it doesn't happen tomorrow. In my opinion, I think OU's not going to get him. But
let me
maybe
say
tomorrow they decide.
Let me say this about Jay Jones. He said, proven guys don't want a rookie back. I'll say this. We all know it. Everybody knows it in this chat. Everybody knows it probably in college football. All the players know it. If you go to the portal, you're going to get more money. It's even Danny, I believe Danny and Jaron Kinnick said on their podcast that they do that. The money that's being paid in the portal, you get paid more to leave than you per se would to stay. So a lot of these guys are going portal. Some of these teams are paying a lot of money for them, correct? I don't think under Brent Venables' philosophy of developing players. Now, the only way I differ on the Brent Venables portal is if you don't go after freshmen or sophomores in the portal, because you could still have them 2 to 3 years. I don't necessarily like the 1 year bring a guy into play. I wouldn't mind the younger guys, though, going after more of those portal guys. That's just me.
Yeah, and Mez brings up a good point. There's guys who are in the portal that were 5 stars that didn't play, and they're just as unproven as some of those other guys. I don't think Coconut Greg, I don't think anything is scaring them off unless it's Schmitty, but I don't think it's that. There was someone on here who commented, I got to get to it. It was Adam. It was Adam. Adam, I'm in agreement with you. I may get on here and yell, I do get on here and yell all the time, but I absolutely think OU's in the right direction. It's going up. It's getting better. The culture is where it needs to be. The defense next year is the best defense. They should be the best defense they've had in years. They kept players that could have easily have left. I'm with you, Adam George. I'm with you. And I think next year they're going to go 9-3 and be in the playoff. I really hope that that's correct.
Team on the rise, Ron says. Mess says, take your chances on Brooks, EPO, Akinkumi, who signed with OU. I mean, yeah, those are highly – they're going to be good players at OU. I don't think there's any doubt. I think it's just when do you go get the – and maybe I don't know. I'm just saying this as maybe a devil's advocate. Maybe OU hasn't figured out recruiting in the portal yet.
I don't think that's it, Jay. That's not it. I tell you what it is. Seelitz got it right now. Little late to the party. Culture. No one man above the team. Everybody pulling their weight in practice and games to win and help the next man up. Is there, with some of these guys, does it feel like, and here's my thing. When you have a recruiting class, you got, 15, 20 guys, right, Jay? Everyone coming in, kind of signing on the same day, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Portal, there's one guy in the portal. He hops in. If OU lands him, everyone's talking about the bag that he's getting. Does it maybe imply there's one man above the team during those? I don't know. It's something to think about.
Great question there by Hub, too. Is the portal thing sustainable or will it level out? I don't think it's sustainable. Go watch Arkansas basketball right now, okay? He always goes to the portal. He's been very good in it. And then this year it didn't work out. I think you kind of risk with who you're bringing in if they're going to fit. Basketball's a little different, I know. Craig says NIL isn't the issue. We need to get back to the 12-team playoff rotation soon. If Ohio State can scoop players down here, I know we can. Doubt. Here's what I'll say, though. Let me bring up something. Guys, a lot of people talk about all the portal quarterbacks that you get. And all. Don't forget Georgia, okay? Georgia could have went and got portal quarterbacks. They didn't go get Caleb Williams. They could have probably. And you know who they went with? Stetson Bennett, okay? That was probably a dumb move, and look what Stetson Bennett did. He ended up winning natties for him. So I do think one or two players can make a huge difference, yes. But I also don't think you can put all your marbles in one or two guys. Although I do think offensive lineman is an area that you could really get a big time stud in.
Yeah, and we're going to talk a lot of NIL tomorrow because we have a special guest coming on who knows a lot of the ins and outs of the NIL and the portal and high school recruiting. Jay, Hunter brings up an outstanding point. Is Geion Hatchett going to go back to the University of Washington? He hated what DeBoer did and how he left and play for a guy in Fish who did the exact same thing. That's a great point. That would be hypocrisy. Hypocrisy.
I would say that's very highly unlikely.
Then it would have to be OU. He also, is he visiting anywhere else? Haven't seen that he's visiting anywhere else.
No, and here's the thing: he's gonna have to enroll somewhere pretty soon, a week or so at least.
Has to.
What is the idea y'all are talking about?
They're talking. People are talking about banning the NIL. I don't think you can ban it because once the can has been opened, it's there. You can't close the can. It'd be like closing the can on a floodgate. You can't do
Jeremy,
it.
The problem is NIL is not what it's used for right now. Right now it's paying to play. That's not what NIL is. They got to change NIL.
Yeah, and Jay, I agree with you, Jay. It's not. Hunter, you're right. Athletes deserve compensation for their name, image, likeness. That's not what it is. It's pay to play.
But how do you put pay to play? How do you do that? I don't know how you police that.
You can only make money on the merch you sell. You can only make money on certain things. That's what it was meant for.
Marketing for your commercials or whatever it is.
That's what it was meant for, Jay.
I understand that's what it's meant for, but you could still, in the same bet, you have these collectives that pay these people to come, go do autographs. Well, that's what it should be used for. But you can bump those collectives up for however much you want, and you're still basically paying the player to come there.
Well,
is it any different? You're still paying the player, right?
It's pay. Yeah, it's pay. It's
still
performance based.
It's the same thing.
Can you and Chad? I would not want that gig.
No, but they do need to do that.
They absolutely need to do it, and I wouldn't want it.
Colin, they should absolutely sign Baker Mayfield tonight. They should
travesty if he's not signed.
I don't know who they think. He that offense fits him pretty good. I think it's a great spot for him. I would love to see him sign there.
Thunder OU Sooner, and the Thunder, by the way, great win last night against the T-Wolves. Unreal. This team's unreal. Hey, I think a salary cap solves a lot of the issue. If the highest you get, Jay, if the highest any player can get, let's say, is $200,000 a year, then I'm not going to go to a certain school if they're all going to pay me the same amount. I'm going to choose where I want to be.
How could you put $200,000 a year if you have a guy that's the face of college football on your team?
You have to have a limit. It's called a salary cap, Jay. He's getting a free education and $200,000 a year. Come off it, Jay.
But I don't know if that's what NIL is for a salary cap. It's for if a guy's worth that much money, he should get paid it for what he's doing.
No, that's paid for play, Jay. I'm going back to NIL. Cap it out.
If people want to buy millions of dollars in a guy's jersey, you're going to cap it at $200,000?
Maybe not jersey sales. I guess that there could be there could be a clause in there, Jay. They're not getting paid for jersey sales.
And here's the thing.
But that's not. No one's dropping a bag at University of Oregon because the guy's going to sell alone because he's going to sell 500,000 jerseys. They're saying, hey, we want you to come to our school. Here's the bag. Pick it up and come on over.
Sooner fan, this is impossible. That's impossible. You cannot give Tulsa University the same amount as Georgia. You can't.
No, you can't.
You can't give every team the same amount of money. There's no way to do that. I don't see how you could do it. You got teams that bring in way more money than other
Cody
teams.
says culture is a standard. Mark Hampton says a cap is the ceiling. It starts off not as a cap, and they kind of get to that.
To me, how you fix NIL is you do contracts, and they're bound by their contract. And you do 1-year contracts only. 1-year contract. After that, if you're paying a guy $100,000 next year and they don't perform very well, sorry, we can't pay you anymore. I don't know. Or you have a sign a 3-year contract and you can't transfer. If you sign it, you're there. Period. No transferring.
Yeah, I mean,
but that'll never happen because the coaches can do whatever they want. So
coaches can do whatever they want.
so it doesn't matter. That's right. And
Mez says
I'll say this.
Mez
I am
says
not,
legally it can't be capped.
and I'll say this. I am not at all saying, I'm not all saying that I'm against NIL, because I think it's players should be able to go try to make more money wherever they want to go. They're trying to, for these NFL guys, Jeremy, they don't last very long, man. Their careers are not long. If a guy in college wants to go make more money somewhere else, I'm almost like more power to him.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, more power to them. And again, what kind of player they're going to be and what kind of person they're going to be on the team. Robbie Martin, again, is a very recent Sooner Surge Unlimited member. Brooks will play next year. A couple more guys. We look great in that area. They're using NIL for depth rather than a splash. I agree. I think you mean they're using the portal more for depth than a splash.
Hey.
And that the only splash from the portal right off the bat, I think, is Deion Burks.
And I'll say this. I think this is where Brent Venables, all the stuff he's doing with Soul Mission and everything, that's why selling that to the players, some of those guys that are coming to OU, that is one of the reasons they're getting them. We want to talk about, well, some of these guys are going to Ole Miss for NIL. Well, some of these guys that OU are getting is because of what they have in place with Soul Mission and all that and the culture, because they aren't going to be in the NFL 10 years down the road. They need something to fall back on. So I think it does help you in that aspect.
Jackson, you're wrong. Colorado won't be legit because Deion Sanders is their coach and he's horrible. Colin McPherson, I can relate to this. Let me talk on this. How about a reward to players that don't transfer, like a cash payout? Thoughts? I'll tell you something. I don't want to say it. I don't want to get in trouble, but
say it.
You know, there's talks now for. I'm a teacher in Oklahoma. There's talks of that. Ryan Walters, the state superintendent, is going to pass where to come teach in Oklahoma, $50,000 signing bonus. What do the people who stay here get?
You should get $50,000 to stay.
We don't get anything.
Well,
that's the exact thing that's happening. People are getting paid to come to your school, but the people that stay, maybe there should be a higher reward. Now, listen, I do know that Danny Stutzman and those guys probably got rewarded, but is it across the board? I really like that, Colin.
But you can't. Are you saying you get every player that sticks around the next year or something? 50. I mean,
and Sooner fan, that's right. $50,000 signing bonus to come to Oklahoma and teach.
Go to Texas and come back, Jeremy.
I think you have to be teaching a certain subject area. I haven't read it exactly. I just know that I wouldn't get it because I am in Oklahoma already teaching. Anyway, maybe a bad analogy, but obviously something. I have seen most players that come to OU mention their Soul Mission has been great. Okay, it's been great.
And I'll say this: I think we could sum up a lot of the night with this culture, NIL, and all this. Is the fact of the matter? I'm going to say that people that are saying NIL at Oklahoma is broke are wrong. Okay, it's not. Okay, people that say the culture is good, I agree, but that's got to lead to either a championship or more wins for it to all be cohesive, right? You can have a great culture. And the fact is, if you had a great culture like you say OU does, and they would have won the Big 12 last year, nobody would probably be even having this talk about NIL right now. It's the fact they lost the 2 games they shouldn't have lost.
Jay, if OU softball had lost, let's say 3 straight in the World Series and haven't won the titles, would people be questioning their culture? Maybe. You're right. Winning fixes, I won't say everything, but almost everything. How about that? It does.
No, it does fix everything. Winning matters, man. Period.
Yeah. I don't think those two classes would be getting the $130K.
I'm a believer. You can have a great culture, and if it's not a winning culture, that your guys on the team, they're not. You can say they're happy, Jeremy, if you want to. I don't think they are.
Jay, Pastor Chuck dropping some truth. Have you read the story about the prodigal son? His brother stayed.
Correct.
And who got celebrated?
The one that left came back.
That's a great one, Chuck. I love that story.
Great, Chuck. Yeah.
Winning hides almost every flaw. That's correct. Even cheating. Ask Michigan.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. I know Hunter's going to drop it in there again. Chief T-Bird, I know. Appreciate you getting on the Discord. Hunter will drop the Sooner Surge Unlimited membership in there. Listen, it's it'll be well worth it. I promise you. Become a member. We're dropping member videos. We're working on some special emojis that members can only use, like maybe a raging, angry, mad face of me. A lot of things. OU pays these kids accordingly. I can promise you these schools that are paying millions on Band-Aid players are going to suffer in a couple of years. Texas A&M.
Here's what I'll say.
Before
we close this tonight, I've already made my feelings known about Ole Miss. And I said that I don't think Ole Miss will ever win a football national championship, okay? Go look at A&M. They haven't won anything, okay? Ole Miss will make the playoff. I agree. I don't think of Ole Miss as a team that's going to win a national championship. And I may be told wrong. I know Bradley on here will probably hate me for saying that, but I know they're getting great players out of the portal, but to me, they don't have that team that's going to win a natty. Now, Ohio State, with what they're doing, yeah, they might. But I just don't think a team that's just going to go get a lot of players in the portal is necessarily going to be. Hey, don't forget Ole Miss when they went after and got Jackson Dart. Do you remember the tight end that OU wanted that they got, the package deal? Do you remember who I'm talking about?
Who?
Hunter could probably drop it in the chat. I can't think of his last name. He transferred with Ole Miss. We thought he might come to OU after Caleb left. Dart.
Yeah, I remember that.
He's already out again, transferred again. So it doesn't always work out with these guys that get money.
Hunter.
It doesn't always work out.
Hunter, answer Matt's question in the chat about what you think it's going to be as far as top 5, top 7, top 10. We'll see. Jackson, you may know that as well.
Trigg. Thank you, Jackson. Michael Trigg.
Yep. Hey, listen, Brian, we're going to have OU softball lives as the season gets closer. We'll be talking stuff. We actually
won't be on here, though. It'll be a separate live.
Double Trouble will be like this, but we may do a separate softball live. We'll make sure we take care of softball for sure. We'll cover it. But, guys, listen, thanks so much for everyone. I appreciate you guys doing the homework.
Are you going to give them grades? Did they all get A's?
Yeah, I'll be the Oprah Winfrey. Everyone gets an A. How about that? Even those that didn't do it. But listen, big shout outs tonight. Eric, for becoming a Sooner Surge Unlimited member. Make sure you join the Discord. Several of you guys are on there. Yeah, softball around the corner, and we will cover it and cover it and cover it. Got a Riley Boone Senior Spotlight video coming out tomorrow, actually. Also, big thanks to Chad Gamble for the super tonight. Chief T-Bird for the super tonight. Tanya Shipman for the super tonight. And I believe there's one more. I missed one. Oh, yeah, Sooner Legend Podcast. Thanks for the super tonight. I'm hyped for softball season as well. Softball will still be talked about on Double Trouble as well. Just also going to do a separate softball live because we have people who only like softball. We want to make sure we get them as well. Bagman, Hunter, we do have baseball coverage coming as well. Hunter professionalized in that. He's great at that. So we'll have that as well. Again, make sure you guys check out the unlimited Sooner Surge membership if you want to. But really, thanks for being on here every night. Tomorrow night, special guest. Talk about NIL portal. You can ask questions. We'll put some up on the chat tomorrow night.
And make sure your notifications on because it might be 9:15, it might be 9, it might be 9:30. But it'll be around that time. So have them on so you'll be on there.
Yeah, appreciate everyone. Thanks so much. Thanks again for all your comments and helping us roll with this. Thanks, Hunter, for running the chat. Appreciate you all. Till tomorrow night. Boomer.
Sooner.